Okay, so for those who don't know, HATJ Trial of the OPPT is currently under trial, and the case is sort of reaching its end. But something interesting happened on day 6, which is that she started naming names of the people who, she is claiming, influenced her in her decisions to, among other things, get involved with the OPPT and get involved with the TDA scam. And it gets to the heart of the question of whether Heather is a crazy person, whether she is the victim of some sort of scam, or she is herself engaged in a scam. Now, courtesy of Backroom Knox, who has been reporting on the case since day 2, in his summary of day 6, he starts mentioning the names which Heather named, and this is also corroborated by the IUV people who are also doing updates about the case. They also confirmed that Heather mentioned these names in court. Now, name number 1, quote, HATJ Trial named a Commander Thoric as her initial contact regarding the information she receives regarding cleaning up the banking industry. Now, Knox names cites the spelling as Thoric. In the courtroom, we found out that the prosecution interpreted the spelling as Thorac. Now, there's 3 possibilities here. 1, Heather is citing Commander Thorac, who is a character from World of Warcraft. Number 2, Heather is making, which would mean that she is making this up. Number 2, it's Thoric, and she's getting it from a military commander that does not exist. Or number 3, somebody is on the internet or somewhere else pretending to be a Commander Thoric and feeding Heather bad information. Now, the second name that Heather mentioned is Jonathan D. Betts, a financial trader, well, according to her, a financial trader for the White House. Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but there are no financial traders, quote, for the White House. The White House is not a trading, a stock brokerage. So this right here is a lie. More importantly, Betts came up during the initial OPPT filings, and Heather claimed that Betts was involved in, quote, the highest levels of bank trade and finance for the White House. But which, by the way, she said this during the Obama years. So according to her, Betts was working for the White House, the secret families, which according to her are families that run the world, and an old man, which is another mystical figure that runs everything. Now, at the time, in 2013, I tried to look up who the hell Betts is. In the Paradigm Report, he's listed as a member of Atlantica Funds, which is a website that is currently down. So who the hell Betts is not clear. Now, the third name that Heather mentioned in the case is Carl Lagenstein. Forget it. And this is a more interesting one because she says that Carl offered her $1 billion to remove herself from the case and the quote-unquote universal cleanup. Now, as we dug up in 2013, Carl is how do you say this? Basically a con artist. In 1994, he persuaded individuals to basically invest in a Ponzi scheme in Switzerland. They gave him $5 million, which they wired to him in Switzerland, and then he ran off with the money. He was charged with fraud by the Swiss government. There's a warrant for his arrest issued April 4th, 2011, which is shortly before the OPPT filings. And there is a provisional, there is an arrest warrant in the United States for extradition with case number 101CV0519, blah, blah, blah. that is still on the books. He is still a fugitive from justice. And here Heather is citing him as a source. Now here it's a little, here the possibilities are clearer. It is possible that Heather is in contact with Carl, who is again, fugitive from justice and a con artist, and it's possible that he is feeding her. It's a real possibility that he is feeding her bad information, which she then repeats, to the idiots that follow her on Facebook and on the internet. But this is what makes Heather and the OPPT so interesting. The girls over at IUV always say, "Oh, the trolls aren't doing their research. They're not reading the filings." And look, all this information about Carl Langestein, Jonathan Betts, Commander Thorick, all this information has been online for 5 years. These guys could have at any time looked this up. There's no reason why somebody like Randy Bean should be in jail when he could have done his research and found out that Heather was full of shit. Even worse, on day 6, Heather also got into allegations that Randy was involved. Something about this case is designed to cover up a secret space program. And, it's incredible to see people at IUV hearing about secret space programs and not immediately realizing that they're following a person who is full of shit, a crazy person. Personally, I lean toward combination mental illness scam theory. It does appear that Heather had some financial troubles and other issues with her business going under, which coincided with her getting involved with Charlie Miller, Langestein, etc. Maybe her financial desperation combined with falling for the scam is what's going on here. And it's also telling that she personally was trying to pay off debts with the TDA accounts, which again do not exist. So I think she's clearly motivated by a partially financial desperation, of financial need. But look, a normal human being would immediately realize that if somebody is talking about aliens, gold and spaceships, and all this other nonsense, that something is wrong here, that this is not true, or at least unlikely.